That was wonderful. That was the first time I've ever seen Helen Mensah dance, and I've been hearing about her since I was here. Let's have a round of applause for the whole group, particularly Helen Mensah. That was a treat. That piece, Togoacha, I also have great memories of learning that piece here, and we mentioned Freeman Kwadzo Dankor earlier in the evening. Let's have a round of applause for Freeman, please. Those of you who know him. I think Freeman was dancing with them just now. I think I saw him over there. I don't know. He was a little bit higher. I don't know if you saw. Freeman's in the house. Okay. I'm going to introduce some of my colleagues, some of my friends who went to school at the same time here as I did. We're going to feature, thank you. We're going to feature Ms. Jeannie Wolf Gagné, who was in my class here, and she's a wonderful singer, and she's written a great song based on Gahun, which she learned here, as many of us did learn the piece Gahun, which you'll hear later tonight. Jeannie drove all the way down. As many people have come a long way tonight, Jeannie came from Eastern Massachusetts, and Joe Galeota joining her, he's not on the program, came from Boston, and Bryant Urban flew out from Seattle, and Judith Cook Tucker came out from Danbury. Let's please welcome them with Jeannie's composition, please.
Hi, not yet. Ah, there we are. Hi, good evening. Guess what? You're going to sing with us. Are you ready? All right. This is a little ditty called I'm Not With You, or The Job That Stole September. So we have to do some doing. That's the word. The lyric is do. Can you say that after me? Do. All right, you got the lyric. Here we go. Let's see. There are two parts in harmony. I'll sing it a couple of times around. This is the first one. And what's going to happen is I'm going to cue you when you're going to come in. It'll be really obvious. All right? Do 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 do. That's it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right? Now there's another part for those of you who's feeling like that's too high, I can't sing that. It goes like this. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That's it. Let's go. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, there are about 10 people singing now. Okay, everyone go. Wow! All right, let's try that again now. Lower part. Do 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 do. That's nice. Top part. Do 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 do. Put them together. Do 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 do. You think you got that? All right. Now I'm going to tell you when you get to sing that. And I have to sing my silly little lyric here. All right. Sitting on my hands with the TV on remote control. Better mute the sound, turn my eyes away, or I lose my soul. The cats are tearing up the house to celebrate a night this cool, but I'm not with you. Here we go, and do 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 do. Got a lot of work to keep me going in times of stress. There's the plants to feed, aerobics, then I think I'll make a dress. I glance at the set, say the cameo thug just got his due, but I'm not with you. 3, 4. Do 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 do. Come on, a little more now. Do do there's nothing more. I could take a walk to see if anyone is robbing the liquor store. But then again, the TV's company, I guess that I have to do since I'm not with you. 2, 3, 4. Do, 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 do.
Jeannie. I remember after I graduated, I drove out to Wyoming, and I stopped in to see Robert Levin, who was renting a little farmhouse from a Wyoming dairy farmer, and he had Bryant and Jeannie and a bunch of people all there working on recording. They were recording in this dairy farm in Wyoming. Not exactly the classy setting you would hope for, Jeannie, right? But it's beautiful. Not only is Abraham the pride of many of his students and a highlight of their experience at Wesleyan, but he's also an important part of the music department here, which is a really great music department. I'd like to ask a couple of his colleagues now to come up who would like to speak on behalf of the music department. We're looking for Mark Slobin and Eric Cherry.
My name is Eric Cherry, and I'm a grand student of Abraham Adzenyah. My initiation into African drumming first came 20 years ago at the hands of David Locke when I was a student in Boston. On behalf of the music department, I would like to welcome all of the members of the Wesleyan community, including our students, alums, and colleagues, and all of our guests in the audience and on stage tonight. The turnout and the music tonight is overwhelming, and it is perhaps the best tribute one can give to one of our most inspiring, valued, and loved teachers, Abraham Adzenyah. Please join me in thanking all of Professor Adzenyah's students, and especially Robert Levin and Doug Berman for making this event happen tonight. We're planning a major celebration next year to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the World Music Program at Wesleyan, home to one of the most pioneering music departments in the country. Tonight's tribute is a fitting kickoff. Before introducing the next two offerings, I would like to present the former chair of the music department, one of our cherished senior faculty members, whose institutional memory goes back to Adzenyah's early days here at Wesleyan, Professor Mark Slobin.
This is really a fabulous event. As the long-term historian, I think we ought to also mention one of Abraham's mentors, J.H. Kwabanin Nketia, who without whom we wouldn't have African music in America. Ethnomusicology started with gamelons and Indian music, and it wasn't until Nketia went to UCLA and began to say, don't you want to hear the voice of Africa too, that it began to arrive at American institutions. And so it was inevitable that it would eventually come here and that it would be Ghanaian music, because that's what Nketia taught and brought to the United States. This gentleman has been here even longer than I have, and I came in 1971. So I didn't see him when he first came, but I know that when he came, it was a very difficult time at Wesleyan. This institution was on the cover of the New York Times Magazine for having severe race problems, as it brought in people of color for the very first time in its history. And I noticed when I came here, which was still a fairly turbulent period, that no better example could be given of what America could be and what the world, should be like than what would happen in this hall every time there was an African music event. Nobody noticed any differences. There was a complete leveling and a complete celebration in the hall with the kind of energy and enthusiasm that really represented the ideal of what world music is supposed to represent. So for all those many years of proving every single time that that's how the world can be, we really owe, I think, a great debt to Abraham as an institution, but also as a model, I think, wider than that in the world. So thank you.
We are pleased to present 2 offerings from our music department faculty. First, so there's a schedule change. We're moving something from later in the program earlier, and we're also adding one more piece. First, we will hear from Professor Jay Hogard, himself a Wesleyan alum and former student of Professor Adzenyah. He will be followed by the Wesleyan Singers under the direction of Professor Neely Bruce, who rehearsed the group but unfortunately could not be here tonight. They will be performing a composition by Abraham Adzenyah. Professor Jay Hogard.
Good evening. Test, test, test. And I would like to introduce my colleagues. Originally, I was going to play solo, but for a tribute to my great teacher and friend, I figured I'd need to have some people playing the drums. Now, we all have been blessed to count Mr. Adzenyah as our teacher and our friend. Michael Mills. Jawawa Brian Gray. Asher Delarme. And Kweku Kwache Martin Obang. This piece is called The Golden Ashanti and is inspired by the famous gold weights that are known as part of Asante culture.
You aren't supposed to be working tonight. You're supposed to be the king. Wesleyan Singers. A song written by Abraham Adzenyah. It's pretty amazing how far Abraham's music has spread from here throughout the rest of the universe. And you just see some of the examples so far, and there are a lot more coming tonight. Royal Hardigan, who's right there in the blue, was here in the early 80s through probably about a decade, right? Here for 10 years? Yeah. And during that 10 years, he spent an amazing amount of time in Abraham's classroom, studying and absorbing everything he possibly could. And turns out he was absorbing a lot more than even we thought. He went on to teach the music that he learned from Abraham at San Jose State and now at UMass Dartmouth, where he runs this group, as well as several other jazz groups that use music inspired by Abraham Adzenyah as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Royal Hardigan's UMass Dartmouth African Drumming Ensemble.